What's up, everybody? It's Ted here again with some bodies and wicks. I know I just threw that video at you about Bitcoin dropping, and I don't know if you heard what I said about Ethereum. I said Ethereum would possibly drop too, and it did, but it didn't make like as heavy as an impact as Bitcoin did, because Bitcoin made like a lower low as to where Ethereum looked like it was going up, and it just kind of dropped back down to, yeah, kind of its normal range area. But this video I'm making is basically my analysis of what Ethereum is possibly going to do, which is possibly going to be dropping lower. Yes, dropping lower, unfortunately. So if you are longing Ethereum right now, you may want to think twice. This is not financial advice, by the way. This is just experience about what I see here, about what could be going on with Ethereum. And yes, that good old Ethereum right there, that guy, that nice old retro logo thing. But let's go ahead and get into the chart of it here. So I've got the chart of it, and what I see here specifically is that even though it did break structure, and I was talking about this yesterday about how it was good that it was breaking structure yesterday, right? Um, and it got up into, and again, I'm using uh, my own personal kind of indicator. It's not really an indicator. It's more of like what I usually draw, but it just kind of draws it for me. Again, you can look up, I think it's like Super Order Blocks, I think is what it's called, by Maku Chaku and FA. I think that's what the original one is called. I just went into Pine Editor and made some different changes, and that way I could see it a little bit better. So what I'm looking at is the fair value gaps and things like that, which would be the imbalances that it would make, and that where price would be possibly drawn toward, and or it doesn't really show you liquidity. But that's something I see all the time is, equal lows, equal highs, swing highs, swing lows, things like that. And that's where I see, where price could possibly be going. So what happened here with Ethereum last night is that it did come up and break these highs, right? It did close above them, right? And it just broke these swing highs. It did not come over and break any of these highs back from August 25th, the last time it made a pretty decent high back in the 1700s, 1715, somewhere around in there, 1719. And right now I'm looking at the hourly. I'm looking at the hourly chart. Okay. Now on the hourly chart, you see it drop right around noon today. All right. So huge drop right around noon. Right. Falls back down. Now, if you draw a fib from this low point to the high point, it drops exactly about halfway from there. So, a halfway point to half drop. Again, that's what these things like to do. They like to they love these exact, almost precise moments to where to go to. Drops about halfway, right? And what does it do? It hits an area. If you look to the left, this is the thing: is I don't like trend lines. I don't like bear flags, bull flags, harmonics, anything like that. I look at where price was before, because that's where price is looking to go toward next. Now it hits kind of an area that's kind of boxed in. So if you look at this right here, this is kind of like the area that has been boxed in, right? So I consider this more of like what's it called? More of like a consolidation area, So It consolidates here on September 3rd, basically. A little bit on the 4th, and 5th, you can see it move up pretty quick. And until today, the 6th, is when you see it drop again back down to that area on the 3rd. And if we take away the eye here, you can kind of see there was a fair value gap in here previously. I think that was the 4 hour, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was a daily. I'm not 100% sure. There was an area to where I'm not for sure. Okay, so it looks like it could have been the daily if it kept going up, because I believe it was going up at this point, and that's when I drew that box. And whenever I drew that box, it looks like I came back down to it and filled in that imbalance that I was talking about. So it fills in this imbalance that it was possibly going to make, but now there's no imbalance there. So we can go ahead and get rid of this rectangle because there is no more imbalance. However, if we go back to the 4 hour, the 1 hour, whichever one it is, you do see somewhat equal lows here. You see a low here. Hold on, let me see if I can drag this out a little bit over and probably spread it out a little bit more. That way you guys can see it better. You see all these equal low right along this red line here, right? So, and you can even see it kind of even creep over to here. You can see it, the wick spike through it, but it's still pretty much almost an even line almost all the way across, even with wick spike through it. So a lot of people will consider this, almost as a support level of sort, right at that 50%, or that this would be the 61.8%, 62%. So right at that discount level, the discount level being the smart money discount level, as to where that's where smart money wants to buy. Anytime it gets down below this, after it makes that high, right, then that's where smart money would want to jump in and buy. I'm not for sure where this 50% come. I don't know where these other numbers are coming from. I'm trying to figure it out, so because it's a little confusing right now, but I want to get rid of some of these. There we go. Okay. So I am just looking at this here from August 28th, August 29th, somewhere around in there. So there's a flying around me, all the way up until today. And then it hits a certain point, which would be the bearish order block, right? And I even said this yesterday that it would be hitting somewhere around in this area and getting rejected. And it actually hits the nail on the head to where it is the last. If you're looking at the 4 hour order block, hits the last one of these. I guess I could just leave it there. Actually, let me get rid of that one and draw a new one. I don't even want to leave that one there. I want an all new trend line. Jeez, there's a fly in here and it's making me mad. This one goes all the way across. So that would be your last up candle before the next down candle closes below them, right? And maybe if we get to the 1 hour, there may be another one that could be a little bit lower, and that's why it stops right exactly at the area. Yep, there is. You see it right here. That one is just a little bit below it. I'm going to leave that there as that high point, and I'm going to get rid of this yellow one here because we don't need that one. So I'm trying to even this out exactly to where it was. Okay, perfect. So as you can see, it comes up, and this is the last 1 hour candle, right? You can see it attempt to try to break the high here around, Jesus, flies killing me. Try to break the high here on August 24th, 25th, somewhere around in there. This green candle is the last high before it drops and then closes below it, right? So we have a low high, lower low scenario. So that would create this as the um, uh, I wouldn't consider it, well, for one, it'd be a bearish order block, but it would also be, and I can't think of the term for it right now. And here I am, the one being the smart marketing person. I can't even think of the term I'm supposed to be telling you about. But primarily, the bearish order block is what you'd be looking out for anyway, right? So as you can see, it comes up, it hits it once, hits it twice, three. I mean, it just completely makes a whole support, or or a whole resistance line across, basically, because it cannot get past this bearish order block, right? Which is this last candle up before the next candle's down, close below it. So, and I don't know if people were thinking that it was going to eventually break through, because it did break this high. I was thinking it was probably going to break through. I think I talked yesterday about how I was probably going to possibly get up here into this fair value gap. But then I also talked about how it could possibly even get lower too, right? Um, and that's where I think this is all heading, because Bitcoin dropped, Monero dropped. I mean, they all pretty much dropped all at once, and very, very quickly. So I'm drawing this out, even though I probably don't have to. If I undo this, it's showing exactly where that fair value gap is. It's not drawing it all the way out, but it's drawing it for me. So the next thing I would think what would be happening would be a path up in, it would look like it would be going up into this area, this imbalance, probably getting about halfway into it before dropping again. And where would it drop to? It would drop below this liquidity level here that I was talking about earlier, to where there was all these somewhat equal lows, right? And even on the 4 hour, it looks like, there may be just wicks that were going through, but the bodies were staying above. So it could look like, especially on a larger time frame, it looks like it is a more like a support level all the way across. So it would drop below that, because everybody would think it would hit this. That would be the support level, which is exactly on the 61.8%. So smart money likes to buy below that. That way it's at a discount price, right? So here's fair value gap number 1 on the 1 hour, right? And there's a fair value gap over here, right? And this is where I am thinking it is most likely to head. At least. I remember yesterday I was talking about 1318, which is way down here, where another fair value gap is, right? And that fair value gap is there. If we moved all the way back and checked out the chart from back in July, where it just makes a huge run up and then does a little bit of a consolidation, another run up, comes back down, consolidation, and then bounces up. Well, it leaves an open gap there, right around that 1318 area, down to right around the 1280 area, somewhere around in there. So first, I still think these are going down, But then again, we're still not at the lowest point. So we're still, it's not like we're in a bear market or anything like that. I just feel like, again, I feel like crypto's kind of found or settled its way into what it wants to settle into, and we're kind of range bound, and we're gonna kind of be range bound for a while. So therefore, we just kind of have to go along with what the charts are kind of giving us and telling us what they think they're gonna do. So first, I think it could be running up into here, maybe to about 1625, 1620, somewhere around in there, before finally dropping right down into somewhere around 1450, right? And then maybe giving us a little bit of hope and trying to run up a little bit, and then possibly dropping again back down into this 13, 13, 18, 13, 20 area down to about 1280, somewhere around in there. So that is what I think is possibly what's going to happen, just based on what I see and based on what's happened so far. Even though it broke the structure yesterday, it did fall. It fell to equal levels. And so since it fell to equal levels, and there's more equal levels below that. I'm seeing a lot of liquidity below that it wants to head toward, and also I'm seeing a lot of imbalances below that it wants to head toward as well. So that's all I got for you for Ethereum. Thank you for watching, and as always, remember to wear your pants.